Hi, I'm Stacy Kemp, the executive lead for the CMO program at Deloitte, and I'm delighted to be at the Walmart Connect studio here at CES 2026 and having a conversation with one of my favorite people in the whole world.
My favorite people too.
But also the SVP and GM of Walmart Connect. So Rich, this isn't your first CES. Tell me how it's changed since you first took on this role.
Yeah, I think overall, I've been to CES for 20 plus years, and it's such an interesting transformation for CES because in the beginning, I guess, it was more electronics and more of the hardware and the tech side. And then over the years, software came into play and then media. And then so now it's filled with a lot of media people. We have a lot of great meetings. We really talk about business. We talk about problems, solutions. There's also a great conference with interviews and panels. And then the trade show where you can kind of see all the electronics. And to me, the biggest kind of shift over the last couple of years is the media. We're all here. We're all talking to clients. We're all talking to partners, really talking about the future, talking about what's going on in their business. A couple obviously key topics. Retail media is a really popular topic that we are going to discuss a little about and important to Walmart Connect. But also overall media, AI, CTV, the transformation of technology with media and creativity, and of course with AI. It's moving more to the hardware to the software sort of kind of conversation, which is pretty interesting.
So over 5 years, there's been a lot of hot topics. What would be one of the retail media myths that you'd love to see sunset in 2026?
Yeah, I think retail media started as a performance-based media, more lower funnel, conversion-based media. And yeah, it was very effective. Think about on-site at walmart.com. Someone is searching for something. We have a great signal. We can deliver some very relevant ads and sponsored products, for example. And the transaction happens right there. Very powerful, very impactful. But what is now happening is retail media is expanding beyond just like on-site at a retailer per se, and moving towards a full funnel, because the real power is data and information and targeting and relevance of that targeting. And the signal is very strong for retailers. They know, we know about what customers are buying, what their purchase patterns are. And that is giving us that signal, that allowing us in a safe way to bring it off-site, to allow those signals to go into more upper funnel media, whether that's social or display, or really what's growing really fast is connected TV. And as that happens, the notion of full funnel is really coming to play. And for us, I think we're focusing on like 3 areas and what things are happening. So let's take scale first. Walmart is a large company, 150 million customers on a weekly basis, come on an omni perspective. .com through the store. So a large scale, and that's really important to advertisers. And you're seeing that really started to play out the value for many advertisers, because they need to get to scalable audiences. They need to get reach. And as you move to upper funnel and you can expand that reach, having a sizable first party database is really important. Solutions, so important. And that solutions, then now we talk about not just the performance based media, but full funnel, right? It's moving from on-site to more mid-level sort of like engagement sort of media. Maybe that could be social, all the way to upper funnel, broad-based, maybe connected TV. And now you have that array of products. Walmart Connect, we can deliver that through our first-party data and through the relationship of having incredible signals, which is the last piece, and really having great audiences, be able to optimize, which I wish we would always get everything perfect, but clients need to understand what's happening, optimize, and then showing results on a real-time or next day basis of the sales. And results are really, really important. That's the critical piece. Retail media can deliver that. And when you have the scale and you have those solutions and you have the signals, it really kind of is sort of a closed loop. Because when you can tell people exactly what customers are buying or non-customers that turn into customers, that becomes really, really powerful. And that's like sort of the evolution of what's happening. Mm-hmm. And when you ask, like, what is misconceptions, it's sort of like a move from lower funnel all the way now to full funnel. And is really all types of media that you can now infuse with retail media.
So maybe, bygone are the words of transactional, low funnel. Not to say that those things aren't still there, but it feels that the opportunity is much broader.
Yes, and I think the objectives, many clients have different objectives. You have a brand objective where you're trying to get reach against brand. Now retail media can solve that. Maybe in the past, we didn't have the ability to do that, and we were more the transactional or the lower funnel, and now you can do it. So I think that's the misconception. I think what you'll see is this new media, this hybrid media that maybe is not traditional media. Maybe it's not like shoppable or retail media. It's kind of like in the middle. It can solve so many different business challenges, and that's the beauty of it.
I agree. I think it's really exciting. And for someone who's spent their career in marketing and retail, it's such a sort of happy turn of events for me to kind of see this huge opportunity here. But what's interesting is as you're talking about that, and we think about the sort of full funnel opportunities of commerce media, retail media, it strikes me that creativity is a really important piece of that. What's your perspective on how creativity plays a role in that ecosystem that you just described?
Yeah, I would say as a performance marketer and me as I spent a lot of my career in media buying and lower funnel and upper funnel. And I think there was this, again, it could be another misconception, which is retail media or performance-based media is really about, data and just conversion and just like optimizing conversion. And I think with the notion when you start to move to a full funnel, creativity plays a new role. And I think creativity can be both in the optimization and the data and those sort of areas, of course. But even as you traditionally think about creativity as a broad-based medium, retail media can play that because, again, you can infuse into connected TV, TV advertising, this notion of, one, you can have retail media help you make better decisions on what that creative can be, but also just infusing and better targeting to the customers that we know would love your products or would want your products or want to be introduced to your products, all the way down to that conversion. And then you can see that conversion. And in the past, we couldn't do that. We were a little blind, It's like that quote of, I know 50% of my advertising works. I just don't know what 50%. Now you actually know all of what's working. And the beauty of what Walmart Connect can do for our customers and our clients, our suppliers, our sellers, whatever you want to call them, our advertisers, is now make that full connection. And the creative piece to it is whether it's the creative TV ad, whether it's a mid-funnel that's being infused by the information that's coming from our customers and the data and what's selling, you can all now deliver that with a solid understanding of what results are coming from it.
So there's two places I want to go, given what you just said, because it's just so fascinating. And one is to kind of venture into connected TV and obviously the huge opportunity there. But it also strikes me that the closed loop, the being able to figure out what 50% and then what's happening with that other 50%, and the ability to connect with customers in a more personalized way also comes from or is made possible by AI.
Mm-hmm.
And
no
of course,
I mean,
what is that? What is that? I don't even know what that is. So I'm just curious it seems to me, and I was thinking about this kind of over the disconnect of the holiday period, is if you were to talk to any of the CMOs that I spend a bunch of time with or folks that live in marketing and media, April, May, it was like proofs of concept. It was sort of MVPs. It was tinkering. We've got this use case, that use case. Fast forward to September, and it was like all of a sudden, we can't move fast enough. Don't worry about MVPs. Let's just transform. I'm curious how that's impacting the media space and particularly how you think about that strategically.
Yeah, so it's a great question. AI is real. It's, and being infused into every part of our businesses, both from how we think about it from a customer. At Walmart, we talk about Sparky, which is a AI-based tool on our site that's allowing customers to write more conversational sort of questions and getting more personalized with their recommendations. So that's happening. That's real. But I would say we're still at the early stages of how companies are using AI. So again, the consumer-based stuff is really happening. Obviously, all of the large hyperscalers are growing and getting smarter and smarter and delivering a lot of value to customers. And we are Walmart partnering with many of them. But also from a B2B side, we're all starting to infuse AI into how we run our business to be able to supply real value to our advertisers, and internally how we sort of look at AI. Now, I don't think AI is going to replace the human aspect of it. I think that's going to be really, really important, whether on the B2B side with our teams or the consumer space, because I think, but it'll adjust how we do sort of business, how we can service clients, what we call Marty, which is our B2B sort of agentic tool that's going to allow we're already in beta and we're already delivering a lot of value, and our clients are asking us asking Marty really great questions and understanding consumer buying patterns and paths, campaign at the end of campaigns, and really analyzing your data and your results in sort of different ways. But again, you're sort of at the beginning stages, and as we move from beta into general market, you'll see clients be able to ask even more complex questions about the customers they want to go after, what's happening with their campaigns, and then the optimization. So it's not only the data, the information, it's sort of like one click and be able to say, okay, great, I love that recommendation. Now go execute and find more of those people, or execute in this way, or optimize for me as my agent to be able to do that. And our systems are starting to do that. But it does take time. What we're finding is, as we start to go through beta with Marty, it's like 98% of the questions are like new questions every time, because it's fascinating, because all of our advertisers, the multitude of different advertisers that are experimenting with it, are learning that they have different questions and different challenges, and they have different objectives, they have different goals. Our systems are able to help them like creatively. We have Creative Builder now, where they're able to ask different questions. So you're talking about an infinite amount of questions and answers that can come. So we are at the beginning stages where our systems are learning, they're answering some of those questions, and over time it's going to be more and more. It's going to be a much more robust sort of platform. So we'll have the Sparky in the consumer base, and that'll grow, and that'll get even better and better. We will have ads as part of that piece, but again, the ads will be even better because they'll be more personalized, more understanding, and the recommendations will be that much more important. And then from Marty, allowing our advertisers to come on board, ask their complex questions in a more simple way, easy way. They'll get better audience. They'll understand their audiences. They'll be able to optimize, and then get the results. And then the systems will help kind of do that. So that's kind of exciting. I do think humans will help. I go back to my beginning when I said humans. I think the important piece of humans is we will have to be prompting and be part of that and be part of that solution. And I do believe creativity and humanity is still going to be part of this. It's just the prompting aspect of it will be part of that process. And some of more of the things that we do every day that we have people still doing, whether that's billing or answering kind of simple questions, the systems will be able to do that, more of that, and then move our teams more to solving business challenges for our clients. And that's really what we're about. Walmart Connect we're set up to solve those business and marketing challenges for our advertisers. And that's where we want to play. And I think AI will allow us to do that in a much more robust way.
So Rich, we touched on this slightly, but I'd love to come back and dig a little deeper around the convergence of media, retail media, connected TV, and sort of the value to customers and the consumer as well as to advertisers. And Walmart has such a unique value proposition there. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I sort of, from that, one of your initial questions is sort of like this notion of moving to full funnel, moving to this notion of solving really complex business challenges for our advertisers who are asking us, again, not just the performance piece and the lower funnel piece, but they want to do full, I keep going to this full funnel, but this notion of mid-funnel, like consideration, and then the branding piece in the upper funnel. And as they come to us and they ask us those questions and they have those business marketing needs, and again, we want to solve those business needs, what we've had to sort of think about, and from our customer perspective, and then the business opportunity, and then the way the world is moving towards, TV's moving from linear to connected TV. It's getting more robust in the how people buy ads from an automated programmatic perspective. And we see that opportunity happening and that shift happening in the marketplace. So in order to solve those business problems and then for us to help us grow our business and really solve Walmart's challenges, we started to moving into infusing connected TV through relationships and off-platform media to be able to do better targeting, then ultimately understanding the results of that. And that's sort of like a new way of thinking about media. But now we're adding another layer, and as we have partnered or we've acquired Vizio, it becomes even more magnified because now we have a true integrated platform that can be full funnel from the brand piece all the way down to the performance-based or the on-site based. And we can do holistic campaigns for clients depending on what their needs and their objectives are. If they have a new product on a broad base, they want to go into TV, and then they want something more like engaging and engaging, we can do that on the site, or we can do that through a social partner, and then build promotions on site, or just even do search. And it really, as we target unique customers and segments to be able to deliver value and relevance, it all has to be relevant and it all has to be valued to the customer. It makes it more robust. And then for the connected TV, we think about the future of what we have in front of us, which is you can be watching a Vizio TV. You're sitting down with your family for a movie night, but you realize you don't have popcorn. You realize you don't have candy or some other beverage that you would want. You can do one click, and a half hour later through our Express, it can be at your house. And it could just be much more robust and simple and easy to do that connection all the way through the funnel. So it can be from a campaign perspective or just from a tactical perspective of how consumers engage with entertainment or media, and that's the future for us. And I'm very exciting because again, it's going to solve client business needs and problems, and then most importantly, the consumer is going to get a tremendous amount of value, and that can be really exciting.
I'm thinking about how you talked about how important the humans are, and how fun it must be for your teams to be able to tap into the data, the frequency, the category breadth, the delivery capability, and clearly the media access in my home, on my phone. How fun for your teams to have all of those ingredients to build those solution recipes.
That's right. It goes back to we can add more creativity to the campaigns, but we're also seeing great results where we're able to, we're seeing incredible reach when we partner both with Vizio or just also CTV overall through our campaigns. Our clients are able to get much broader reach. And then when we find the impact is an incredible amount of higher levels of sales and growing their customer bases in ways that we never could do before. And Vizio is allowing us to do that, and our off-platform partnerships allow us to do that.
It's really sort of like crafting customer engagement solutions versus selling media or selling data or, some of the more transactional predecessors of where you are today.
That's why I always say to clients, it's always like, give us a great brief that is not just about like, I want to sell at the point of sale. A great brief about what their objectives are, who their customer is, what the product and what the feeling is, and we can build a lot of creativity into the campaigns, and then a lot of impact all the way through the broad-based media, as I said, down to the performance-based media.
So one last question.
Sure.
You're a CMO of one of your clients. How would you advise them to think about the capabilities that Connect has strategically as they're thinking about the next horizon of business performance?
Yeah, it's a great question. As I said, I was a media buyer for a very long time. And I was actually the interim CMO of Walmart for a little while. The world is complex, right? So I wish the days of, I don't wish, I'm so happy today, but think about the days of old, and you were buying TV, you were buying heavy reach, you had big budgets into broad-based media, somewhat simple. You were spending the majority of your dollars there. But as the world of digital and the basic internet, and then app advertising and social, and performance, new types of performance-based and mid-funnel, it's complex. So they have a lot of choices. They have to think about many different data sources and try to piece it all together. So I kind of go back to the original, what you said, is like, if I were to make a recommendation and think about the scale, the solutions and the signals, from the scale perspective, focus on scalable solutions, which is the next one, first, because you can fragment your business and then not understand because there's so many data sources. So focus on the scale, either partners or media, and get that really tight. Then the solutions, again, you have to think full funnel. And I would say to CMOs, maybe CMOs in the past had more upper funnel sort of responsibilities, and then there was shopper marketing or performance-based marketing were a little separated. The world has collapsed for CMOs. They have to be thinking full funnel holistically, performance-based to consideration, to the acquisition or buying the sale. And so those solutions have to be really, again, very tight, create creative, think differently. It's not separate. There's not retail media and broad-based media. It's media, and you have to be thinking about holistically. It is a little different, right? It has a lot of advantages that traditional media, because you can really see those last part signals, and the signals of whether that's audiences or really results, right? Measurable results. And I would say hold your media super accountable, not just for the upper funnel stuff, maybe like reach or frequency, but are we driving sales, and how do we measure that? And are we clear about that? That's what the recommendation I'd say. So the scale, the signals and the solutions, be really tight with that, and making sure that you're not fragmenting all your media and you're not getting the goals or objectives or the solutions that you really need out of it.
And in the fall, I had a long road trip. And so I reread, or I should say re-listened to Sam Walton's autobiography. And as you were just talking there, I was thinking to myself, like, scale, signals, and solutions have sort of been the name of the game since the beginning. And
I think customers and associates, he was very adamant about, like, make your help your associates or employees thrive. They will support the customers. And I believe that too. It's everything we do has to be customer-centric in the advertising. It has to be really relevant to the consumer, or eventually, or they won't purchase.
Exactly.
And then the partners or the advertisers won't come to us, and Walmart won't benefit. So it is really a self-fulfilling sort of flywheel, and it's really important. And for us, most of our media is performance-based media, so we have to be accountable. And so Sam was really a customer and associate. He was about innovation. He was about moving forward. I think he would be so proud of where we are.
Oh, yeah.
Walmart overall, and then the notion of retail and retail media and how we think about retail media, I think he'd be very proud.
That's as you were talking, I'm like,
cut you off.
He would, no, I think he would be, a proud, his buttons would be bursting, as my grandmother would say. So thank you so much for the time.
No, thank you. Appreciate it. I love the talk.
Me too.